Good evening. It's Monday, August 15th, 2011, a regularly scheduled meeting of the Elmhurst City Council. Please rise and join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. City Clerk, please call the roll.
Pezza. Here. Here. Leader.
Here.
Dunn.
Here.
Graham.
Here.
Volumsky. Here. York.
Here.
Hipston.
Here.
Healy.
Here.
Levin.
Here.
Kennedy.
Here.
Morley.
Here.
Wagner. Absent. Mulliner.
Here.
13 present, 1 absent.
13 present, 1 absent. That makes a quorum. Are there any written or petitions from the public? Please present those to the clerk at this time. Thank you. Those will be presented to the City Council at the next meeting. We will receive those in the next meeting. Now for the public forum. Clerk, do we have anyone who signed up?
Yes, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, we do. First, we have Gilbert Fisher, 586 North Van Auken.
Mr. Fisher, 3 minutes.
Gilbert Fisher, 586 North Van Auken. Last week we had a book fair at Fisher School on Van Auken Street north of me. I took 2 of my granddaughters, ages 6 to 9 in that area, up there to the book fair. It was very nice. But what they really enjoyed and had a great time laughing about was me driving the car up there on Van Auken Street. Now, they told me it's like driving on railroad tracks. They wanted me to keep driving up and down the street because the car is going plop, 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 and bouncing up and down. Now, when I pick up the telephone, I pay you a tax. When I turn the gas on to heat my dinner, I pay you a tax. When I turn my light on, I pay you a tax. When I take my wife out to a restaurant, I pay you a tax. And 2 girls realize that when I drive down my street, it's like driving on a railroad track. About 7 Sundays ago, I had a barbecue party at my house. It rained. We barbecued, my 2 boys and I, out in the rain. We did good. After they left, 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I heard a strange noise in my basement. I went down to my sub pump, and there's an iron cover over the thing. I lifted it up, and I got a face full of water. The sub pump was running, but the water was not going out of my house. I figured the pipe going down in the storm sewer in the street was plugged up. So I put the cover down. It was running out of the house when I found out later that a 100-amp fuse in my electric box sorted out. Half the electricity in the house went dead. I went outside, disconnected the pipe going into the street in the storm sewer. As I looked at it, water was coming out of the pipe from the storm sewer. It wasn't spraying out like a hose, but it was coming up, bloop, 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 bloop. Ran to the garage, got an extension cord, put it into the other part of the house, pumped out the water, put a gutter out there, let it go down the side of the yard. Ladies and gentlemen, whatever you're doing, it's not working. Your governorship, the government of the United States of America, is not working. I pay and pay and pay, and you just come up with more ways to take more of my money. It's called theft of services. When you take money from somebody, you're supposed to do something.
15 seconds.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, we have Claude Pagash, 566 West Gladys.
My name is Claude Pogich, live at 566 West Gladys. Initially, I want to thank the Finance Committee for finally bringing forward a change in the ordinance in regards to rebates for taxation. I would hope that the aldermen as a body would pass it. On the other hand, on the agenda, I wish that the aldermen do not vote in diversion contract and the removal of the pump number 6. The DuPage County Water Commission of late has shown that it has an administrative ability that is non-existent. I have very little faith that I would have to depend in the future on the DuPage County water system. By eliminating the pumps, the well pumps that we have had for numerous years, I understand there's a cost factor in maintaining them. As a DuPage County Water System Administration, I have very little faith in their engineering department also. Also, I would like to bring up a little factor. Mr. Burke, when he made his presentation, had a little difficult time explaining what an acre-foot of water was. He talked about 40,000 some bottles of water and everything else. Well, if the aldermen and the Citizens Committee want to have an idea what an acre-foot of water is, they can drive up to York football field, stand at one end of the football field and look across it, and that would be approximately an acre-foot of water. The gentleman was talking about creating 38 acre-foot water trenches, 20 acre-foot trenches. I want the alderman to take the time to go look at that vast area, because if that's what he's looking for and proposing to do, I've driven around the area. I don't see areas where you can put in 30 acre-foot trenches. Not the size of football fields, and that would be at the bottom, not at the top. Thank you all in the Finance Committee. I appreciate your efforts.
Thank you.
Liz Whittemire, 908 Sailor.
Hello, Liz Whittemire, 908 Sailor. Just wanted to talk a little bit about ComEd. Quickly, just would like to hear an update, hopefully tonight, on the ComEd solutions that they have been proposing. We were promised we would hear an update once a month. We haven't heard an update from ComEd since May. I submitted a letter tonight to council that was sent to my neighbor back in January of 2005. This letter was from Mr. Borchert, and it was a response from him regarding the continued outages of ComEd. And again, I want to point out that was January 5th, I believe, January 10th, 2005. It's evident that ComEd has done nothing to improve our services since that time. When you have an opportunity to take a look at that letter, you will see that one of their biggest solutions at the time was to trim trees. Trees seem to grow back every year, a couple times a year, so they need to keep up with that on a weekly, monthly, I don't know, basis, whatever it takes to keep our power going. I greatly appreciate the letter the council put together to our governor to encourage him to veto that bill of increasing our rates, but we do need to stress we need more than that, and we need more than that from you. I'd like to ask all of you, what were you doing November 22nd, 2001? The residents of South Elmhurst were scrambling around, preparing their Thanksgiving dinner, showing their family what wonderful pioneers we became. Because since 2001, we were already telling each other this has been going on too long. So we would just like to ask that council do what you did last week with your letter and do a little more and insist that ComEd spend some dollars in our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Last, we have Kathleen Sullivan, 133 Pine Street.
Kathleen Sullivan, 133 Pine Street. I think, Liz, it was even before that, November 2001, because I remember I moved earlier that year, and I remember Mayor Marcucci having citywide meetings prior to that when I lived over on Spring. So it's been going on a long time, guys, and it is time to fix it. In addition, Saturday morning, just because I'm full disclosure, you know, it was nice, it was sunny. I walk out going, great, the rain's over, and boom, the power goes right out. Came back on shortly thereafter, but, you know, the storms were gone. What's going on? So, still happens all the time. Since I've been babysitting everyone's house all summer, it's, you know, you're having to give the full disclosure updates to them too, so. Additionally, when we decided not to do the weekly updates about the stormwater comprehensive plan at the city council meetings, we committed to doing that at the third week of every month. I don't specifically see it broken out on the agenda, but I look forward to your comments tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes public forum, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Consent agenda. Does anyone have anything that they'd like to remove from the consent agenda this evening? Alderman Gutenkopf?
Item I.
Item I. Any other items? Okay, seeing none, I look for a motion to approve the contents minus item I. Alderman York? Alderman Morley? Please call the roll.
York.
Aye.
Morley.
Aye.
Wagner, absent. Mulliner.
Aye.
Hezza.
Aye.
Gutenkopf.
Aye.
Leader.
Aye.
Dunn.
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Polumsky.
Aye.
Pipskin.
Aye.
Healy.
Aye.
Levin.
Aye.
Kennedy.
Aye.
13 ayes, 0 nays, 1 absent.
13 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent. That passes. On to item I. Could clerk please read the recommendation paragraph?
Therefore, it is the recommendation of the Public Works and Buildings Committee that the proposal for the removal and sealing of the water well number 6 from Water Well Solutions in the amount of $46,873 be accepted. Respectfully submitted, Public Works and Buildings Committee, unsigned by Jim Kennedy, Chairman, signed by Bob Dunn, Vice Chairman, Chris Healy, and Diane Gutenkopf.
Need a motion? Alderman Kennedy, a second. Alderman Gutenkopf. Questions?
I'll defer to Alderman Gutenkopf.
Okay, Alderman Gutenkopf.
Thank you. I thought it appropriate to pull this, given the comments made in the public forum, because I think one of the points that doesn't come across perhaps as strongly as it could in this report was that one of the primary reasons that we never expect to use this well, and that has to do with radon pollution and the massive cost that it would take to make this water potable for human consumption. And so one of the big discussions this committee had when we started to talk about why would we decommission this well, are we ever going to use this well again, had to do with really the cost of decommissioning the well versus the cost of making this water potable. And in the long run, the system that we have to do to become in compliance with current regulations was prohibitive. So while I sympathize with the notion that we may want to rely on this water, reality is that we never will. And so rather than continue to incur costs for maintaining this, it seems more prudent to cap the well and to get those ongoing yearly costs for maintaining the well off the books of the city.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, because this is a report, I'll ask for a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? It passes. On to item 6, reports and recommendations by appointed and elected officials. City Manager, do you have any reports?
Just a couple of updates. I apologize that Stormwater ad hoc committee was not on the agenda. That was an oversight in the office, but I would like to report a couple of things. We're coordinating with the chairman of each of the subcommittees to meet and discuss how the work will move forward as far as the committee work. So we're hoping to get that date together very quickly. And then as far as utilities go and specifically ComEd, we came to know of a public hearing that is going to be conducted tomorrow, and it's a Public Utilities Committee of the House of Representatives for downstate, and it's a hearing on power outages. It's being held at the Highland Park Country Club tomorrow at 10 a.m. I intend to attend that and read into the record the statement that was put at your positions tonight. If you'd like me to read it now, I can. I certainly have copies for the press so that they can have that, and anyone else in the audience who would like them.
I don't think it's necessary to read it, but if you could just summarize it, or and then maybe we can make sure it's posted on the web.
Gladly. What we're saying is that we know there's problems all over, that they need to address them quickly, and if I can just maybe read one of the paragraphs. With the electrical grid system and primarily overhead lines, ComEd needs to invest in more tree trimming, invest in burying more electric lines, invest in more crews and trained personnel, invest in more staff deployed for customer service purposes, invest in a better plan for reporting outages and in reporting upon such outages. And since we all know that storms happen, Commonwealth Edison needs to prepare for them in a more convincing manner.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
I have nothing else. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else on the dais? Alderman President?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I just feel that I owe a quick explanation. 2 weeks ago, when the letter to Governor Quinn popped up that I wasn't aware of but was interested in and did want to do more research on, at that time I said I would do research and get back and report whether or not I would sign on. I have spent the past 2 weeks researching the bill and talking with our elected state representatives who supported the bill and still support the bill. I spoke with State Representative Chris Nybo, State Representative Dennis Rebelletti, and also Senator Milner's office, who actually co-sponsored the bill. And I have learned that this bill, while it is absolutely no means the end-all solution to our ComEd problems and issues, it is definitely a part and a start to a solution. And I believe, from what I've learned, that it is just a step in the right direction toward much-needed and much overdue improvements. It's not just about smart grid, the bill. It does include $1 billion in infrastructure improvements that I know our elected representatives are working very hard to be sure we get our fair share of. After gathering my information, at this time I will not sign on to the letter, but while I do not support asking Governor Quinn to veto this bill, I do support and encourage everyone to join me in contacting our elected state representatives and senators, most of them from our area who all still support this bill. They know much more about the bill than certainly I do. It's now 173 pages long. And they have been in direct contact and communication with the executives from ComEd as well as the ComEd legal counsel regarding these issues and this specific bill. Please tell them how important it is to you that they not only expect but demand nothing less than improvements and everything you've mentioned and asked for. They also wanted me to relay that as representatives, they understand that this deal has to include not only reliability, but also accountability and affordability. In an effort to ensure Elmhurst receives its fair share, along with many other necessary steps toward improvements, I know our mayor, our city manager, our state reps are in constant communication and demanding meetings with ComEd representatives on a regular basis. So once again, I encourage you to call our elected state representatives, tell them what you expect and what they should demand. And I just want to thank Chris Nybo, Dennis Rebelletti, and Senator Milner's office for taking the time to respond to my questions and share their knowledge on this issue. So thank you to them also.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, on to other business. Oh,
Pardon me.
go ahead.
You know what, I'll address it under other business.
Okay. Other business? Alderman Worley?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was not here, although my name is on the letter. I was not here 2 weeks ago. I could not attend the meeting. I was out of town. But I certainly, my name was on the letter originally, and it still is, and I support that position. I don't think the issue's overly complicated. This is about reliable power supply in Elmhurst for the citizens of Elmhurst. I don't think anybody here in this room can state that we have that right now. I can't in good conscience support something that endorses a rate increase along with what I would consider promises, not guarantees, for the citizens of Elmhurst until we see better performance in what we currently have. So I do endorse this letter. I will continue to have my name on it, and like I said, this is less about the bill, and this is more about a reliable power supply in Elmhurst, and we don't have that right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other business? Alderman York?
I, too, wasn't at the meeting 2 weeks ago, but I'm one of the original signers of the letter. And I agree with Alderman Morley and would just like to remind everybody that at the end of the day, we're all lobbying for a more reliable source of electrical distribution. We've just decided to perhaps disagree on a certain House bill, but I'll stand by my signature on the letter and look for some affirmative words from ComEd beyond the usual seems like lip service that we've gotten in the past. So I'm anxious to see the letter that we're supposed to receive this week and expect that I'll stand by my signature on the letter.
Thank you. Any other business? Alderman Dunn?
I'll continue with a follow-up to that discussion. 2 weeks ago, when the letter was presented, I deferred my decision whether or not to sign the letter, which was in opposition to the bill. At this point, I don't feel I have enough information to either support or not support the bill. City Manager Grabowski has submitted a letter to ComEd executives asking for clarification on several issues, and I'd like to see the response to that. The letter that City Manager Grabowski is going to read tomorrow at the open forum for ComEd does mention investments, that investments are required, and obviously you need money, funding to invest. This is a mechanism to do that, albeit not perfect. There are a lot of problems I see with the bill, a lack of accountability. There is only at risk, there's only 0.3%, 30 basis points or 0.3% of their return is at risk, which is pretty insignificant. So there is some benefit in the bill, but there is also some drawbacks, and I'm going to defer a decision either way at this point.
Thank you. Alderman Brand?
Thank you. On the same topic, in regards to the proposed letter to Governor Quinn regarding the smart grid, I too, as Alderman Pezza and Alderman Dunn has stated, I too did not sign on 2 weeks ago upon first seeing the letter on the dais that evening. I give kudos to the aldermen who pulled together and backed the letter. I myself have chosen to keep my name off of the letter. I believe that the smart grid bill, if you will, has downsides as well as plus sides, just like anything. I think that ComEd as a whole needs to step up to the plate and be accountable for the power issues that Elmhurst and other communities have seen. I think we as a community are really stepping up the pressure on ComEd by the city manager speaking with the ComEd representatives on a regular basis by going to the meeting tomorrow morning, as well as how vocal we as a community have been about ComEd and their poor service to the Elmhurst area and the Elmhurst residents. With that said, I have full faith in our representation, from my understanding, that they are doing everything they can to ensure, if not in this bill, in a follow-up bill, to ensure that the accountability is a part of this. I, as well as probably some others, aren't sure about is this the solution or not, but I do believe that we as a community will be holding ComEd accountable for any actions that are taken, and I would like to see the results of the continued and accelerated pressure that we as a community are applying to them. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other business? Alderman Kennedy?
Thank you, sir. I just have a quick question for Jim Grabowski. I know that you met with some of the ComEd folks about 2 weeks ago, and they've made a commitment to get back to us with a letter of their actions. Can you comment as to what that is and when we might expect to see something?
Yes, I'd be pleased to. We met with one of the executive vice presidents 2 weeks ago, Tuesday, 2 weeks ago tomorrow. It was the mayor and myself, and a copy of the letter that the alderman had put together was given to him so that he was aware of it. We also asked him some questions about the smart grid bill as far as what is going to be done in Elmhurst, how much of that bill, or how much of those dollars are going to be committed to Elmhurst. Since he only had, I think it was about 12 hours notice of our meeting, did not have those answers for us, promised to get back to us. I sent him a follow-up message, which he responded that he would get back to us this week. With the public hearing in Highland Park, they were getting ready for that, but at the same time preparing the answers to our questions and the letter. So I expect to see that this week, at which time I will get it out to the council.
Very good. I think we'll all want to see what ComEd proposes to do to actually make some progress here in town, so thank you.
Thank you. Any other business? Seeing none, announcements? Anyone have any announcements this evening? York?
Yeah, I'd like to announce that Alderman Hipskin and I are going to hold a town hall meeting, actually in the town hall, City Council Chambers, September 7th at 7 p.m. That's a Wednesday evening, September 7th at 7 p.m. in this very room. We look forward to seeing all Ward 4 residents here.
Thank you.
Thank you. The First Ward newsletter is something that Alderman Pez and I put out electronically. If you're a First Ward resident and you'd like to receive the newsletter, please send us an email at ward1news@comcast.net, and we'll be happy to get you a copy of the recent issue.
Thank you. Any other announcements? Okay, seeing none, I look for a motion to adjourn. Alderman Morley. Alderman Kennedy. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.